any vivid memories of the last time you game planned for the Heat without Dwayne Wade to worry about?
No, it's unusual, but they're a scrappy young team. They're rebuilding in the right way. They're one of the hardest playing teams we're going to see this year with speed, and it's something we're going to have to deal with.
I mean, DeMar's numbers are spectacular. Is this just him doing more of what he's always done, or has he added a little bit this year that explains, a role like he's on?
Well, Michael, I think the main thing, he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. I think he's doing a lot of the same things. Mid-range, everybody was criticizing him years ago about him being a volume mid-range guy, but now he's making those same shots. And he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence, mixing it up of getting it to the basket. In his post-up game, in the pick-and-roll game, he's doing the same thing. But he's just far more efficient in what he's doing than he has been in the past.
It's sustainable, him taking the volume of shots he's taken. I mean, the team shot much better from three against Washington. Right. Mm-hmm. Does that balance?
Well, we need that. That's what we need. But again, I think he's given us what we need. He's given what the game has given him, taking what the game has given him. We needed some of those points. We were struggling offensively the other night in other areas, and he picked us up. But again, when the defense starts collapsing on him, he's got to be able to kick it out. And once he does, we've got to be able to knock down those shots. The three-point shooters have got to get into a groove and start making those shots consistently, which will take some pressure off of him. But we need a balance. We need some other guys to step up and get in their offensive groove. But again, I've always said this, Michael, and I know it sounds trite and simplistic. I'm really not worried about our offense. I'm more concerned about our defense. Anytime you give up 68 points in the paint is a major concern.
Was that mostly wall speed or?
A lot of all of us. It was everybody. I mean, watching guys back cut, watching him go by us, bigs not protecting the rim, knocking somebody on the butt at the rim, or whatever it is everybody was involved in it. So anytime you give 68 points in the paint, it's a little bit of everybody.
Knowing James Johnson as you do, what do you think he'll provide to Miami?
Toughness, that big body that can go from 3 and 4 position. He's a freak athlete. He can protect the rim at the 3-4 position. He gives them that toughness that you need. He and Ricky Winslow are probably the toughest 3-4 matchups that you can have because they're both great athletes. They're both quick, and both are really good defenders. So, he adds that to that team.
Looking back, what was the biggest difference between his second tenure here and his first?
He was more mature, I think, in his second stint here. That's why I pushed to bring him back. And he was way more mature, far more mature down the road in that situation. I think he was more realistic of what his role would be in the NBA, and he did a good job with that.
DeMar said he really pushed him in practice, helped DeMar get better. Do people kind of overlook guys like that can really?
You do, because his one-on-one in practice, his big body, his size, his strength was a huge plus for us in practice, and he did that. They would play one-on-one in the summertime and after practice, and so that was a huge help. And he was a good teammate. The guys loved him, and that was important too. They knew that he had their back, in tough situations.
Miami did a pretty good job in the playoffs last year, containing Kyle, containing DeMar. Do you expect them to just sort of roll out the same
Michael, that we're expecting that, whether it's blitzes, whether it's the physicality, whether it's the speed and quickness and athleticism of a Winslow. I'm sure they're going to put James Johnson in those situations where James feels like he knows what DeMar is going to do. Somebody just asked that, and so we expect a lot of that. Their speed and quickness and scrappiness is something that on both ends of the floor we got to contend with, and we're expecting that. We're prepared for the blitzes. We're prepared for the physicality they're going to try to play DeMar with, and Kyle. Dragic is very physical. He looks slight of body, but he's very physical with his forearms in one-on-one play. I know that he was one of the guys we talked about in the coaches meeting as far as the rules, as far as, you shoulder hit, but you can't extend your arm out. He's one of the best in the league of stiff arming the defense with the basketball. So that's something we got to be prepared for.
Have you ever seen anyone kind of the light go on the way with Whiteside? Obviously, you guys had him at Summer League and he went overseas.
I tell you what, we had him in Summer League, and the light evidently has gone on. But you could, even in Summer League, you see some of the athleticism, the lob potential, but he's taking it to another level. The young man is a great example of what you can do when, maturity sets in, work ethic sets in, and understands what his role in the league. And, he's a great example of that. And you like seeing that in players and understanding that. And he should be a great example for young guys to see what you can do when you're mature, you're committed to the team, you're committed to being good, you're committed of getting in the best shape of your life, and good things happen.
Dwane, what kind of an asset can it be to have a guy like Dragic as a veteran guard on a young team, a fairly young team like Miami?
It's very important because he has the ball in his hands. He runs the show. He's seen everything. He can be a leader by example and by his voice. So it's very important to have that.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of made an industry of taking guys with sort of questionable reputations, or maybe they've washed out one place and they've had a pretty good record of recovering them, so to speak.
Well,
are you guys close to being able to take some of those risks?
Well, yes. I mean, I wouldn't say. I think is the key is getting guys that fit, that you feel like can fit. You got to be able to absorb them. I think with our culture, with the way we try to do things here, guys will fit. And in Miami, the same way. Their culture, you either fit in or you don't. And so that's the same way we are. We feel like we're in that same situation, but the fit's got to be right. The need has to be there. I know that Coach Riley and Coach Spoelstra run a tight ship in Miami, and we try to here too.
Did Wade and Dragic kind of get in each other's way, and now Dragic is more room to get to his spots and have the ball?
I don't, spacing is always important, Ryan. I don't know if they got in each other's way. I wouldn't know if I'd use that terminology, but spacing is always important. I don't know if I'd kick Dwane Wade out of bed for eating crackers. I don't, So, but again, he's such a special talent. You kind of try to make way out of that. So, they're a young team now. They're committed to that, to building their culture back. Team back again, and with Dragic.